Good morning, this is your 10 a.m. daily weather briefing. Seeing plenty of sun out there this morning with some chilly and breezy conditions. Seeing those peak winds up around 36, 37 miles per hour in the last hour, and seeing our temperatures up in the upper 30s. Do expect a week of chilly conditions. In addition, we will see some wintry weather moving through the area late Wednesday into Thursday. If we take a look at the current surface analysis, do have the strong area of low pressure well off to the northeast, keeping that pressure gradient tight over the local region. That's bringing those breezy conditions. We will see this broad area of high pressure off to the west kind of moving in as we move through the first part of the week before that next disturbance moves through. If we look at our upper level winds from this morning's sounding, had some northwesterly winds near the surface, quite strong winds through the column, becoming more west-northwesterly to westerly as we get up to the 20 to 25,000 foot levels, seeing our peak wind of 137 knots at 25,000 feet. Our freezing level this morning was at 1,000 feet. Take a look at the current visible satellite. We can see plenty of sun across the area. We do have some clouds around 5,000 feet that will continue to move through the area today. We'll have a chance of a few high clouds moving through as well, but overall plenty of sunshine. But we'll see those breezy conditions continue as we move through today as well. And we are currently in a wind advisory, and we'll likely see that wind advisory continue through the day as well. We'll take a look at the European model here, zoomed out as we look at the next several days. Again, no precipitation expected today, as well as our day on Tuesday. We'll start to see that pressure gradient weaken a bit as we move into the day on Tuesday, remaining slightly breezy, but should stay below that wind advisory criteria the way things are looking right now. Then attention turns to this next disturbance that will approach the area as we get into the day on Wednesday. Models have made quite a shift south in the last few model runs, with keeping some of the heavier totals a bit further south, but it does look like we could see a few inches here, but again, we'll continue to track that as we get some of the later model runs coming out this afternoon. But it does look like a good chance, or likely we'll see some snow as we get late Wednesday and continuing into Thursday morning as this area of low pressure tracks well south and off to the east. Again, the trend has been towards much less snow than what we were seeing with the models over the weekend, so we'll be monitoring that trend as we continue over the next 24 hours. Going into the remainder of the week, as that system pulls away, we look to get a stretch of some dry conditions. We'll see breezy and chilly conditions as we move through the end of the week. And then going into the weekend, we will remain chilly, but we'll start to see high pressure building in. That's going to weaken those winds going through our weekend. And then eventually, as we get towards the end of the weekend, likely seeing those winds shift back more out of the south, and it's going to start to bring temperatures back to around average for this time of year. Again, a stretch of some drier weather behind this next system. So if we look at the 24-hour weather risk chart for today, we do have that red risk for winds that are above 25 knots remaining through the working hours today, dropping down to an orange risk for the first part of the evening. We are currently in that wind advisory and expect that to hold as we move through the remainder of the day. We'll see our high temperature around 42 degrees. Winds will be out of the west-northwest 15 to 20 knots, gusting up to 32 knots. And we'll start to see those peak winds coming down as we get later in the afternoon into the evening. Eventually, we'll see winds out of the northwest 6 to 11 knots as we go through the overnight time frame. We'll see our low temperature of 26 degrees tomorrow morning, and we'll start to see some gustier winds as we get to the start of the day tomorrow, but again, still below that wind advisory criteria. Overall clouds, we'll just see a few to possibly scattered clouds around 5,000 feet with a few high clouds mixed in. Going into the evening, we'll see a few to scattered high clouds mainly moving through the area, and some partly cloudy skies as we start the day on Tuesday. Tides are running slightly below normal. And for Tuesday, we will see a much chillier day with some slightly breezy conditions. Our high just in the mid to upper 30s, right around 36 degrees for Tuesday. Otherwise, partly cloudy skies. Cold evening Tuesday evening with a low around 20 degrees. And then on Wednesday, we'll see our high just around 30 degrees. So continued cold conditions, and that's when that next system pushes through again. Seeing quite the shift in the modeling over the last 24 hours. So we'll continue to track that as we move over the next 24 hours to see if we can get some consistency. But it does look like we will see some snowfall here locally, and big question will be just how much. Right now it looks like at least a few inches, but again, we could see that change as we move over the next 24 hours. And again, that does look likely, about a 70% chance of that happening, lingering into the early morning hours of Thursday. Once again, a high around 30 degrees for Thursday. And then we'll see a slight warm up as we move to the end of the week with a bit more in the way of sunshine, but we'll see some breezy conditions behind that system, highs in the upper 30s, and then back into the 40s as we move into the weekend. Partly to mostly cloudy conditions at times, but overall for the weekend, partly cloudy. High temperatures in the low to mid 40s, and our low temperatures in the 20s. That's going to wrap up the 10 a.m. daily weather briefing. We'll be back again tomorrow at 8:15 and 10 a.m. Enjoy the rest of your day.